Rise and shine. You're watching WCTV Eyewitness News. The Good Morning Show starts now.
Coming up on the Good Morning Show, we take a look at the recovery efforts 1 month after a trio of tornadoes tore through Leon County.
Plus, raises expected for teachers across Florida. How much is being set aside in the new budget and what the state's teachers union is saying about it.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on the Good Morning Show on this Tuesday morning. A humid Tuesday morning.
You totally felt that when you stepped outside today.
Did I feel it? I broke a sweat while I was walking the dog.
Yes, it was dark out still.
I know. I mean, whoa.
Yeah,
it slapped you in the face as soon as you walk outside. You don't even need Rob to do the forecast, because let me give it to you.
Please do. Continue. You're doing great. You're doing great. It's here.
It's humid. It's hot.
It's not going to stop anytime soon. We need some rain. That's what would help stop this and calm down some of the humidity. But I think our shower chances, like yesterday, right? They were going to be there and we were going to hope for them, but they were never really going to materialize all over the place. Same kind of deal for us today. I think there can be a few showers, but a lot of us are just going to sit in this soupy air mass. Now, the winds are going to be from the west and northwest. It's a little drier. The air way off to the north, it's a little drier. So maybe some of our northern sections, not as humid as everybody else, but I think today is going to be one of those days. It's just soupy and gross out there. It is what it is. A lot of our top temperatures are going to make those middle 90s again. So you have to add 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 degrees to the actual temperature for what it feels like. So it's going to be another one of those days. The best time to do stuff outdoors will be early or late when we're not in the middle peak heating periods of the day. I think if we're going to find any showers, maybe we can find them south of I-10 and maybe we can find them this afternoon. But you see, some of those showers from the north that tried to get here just fell apart before they could. And I think that's going to be the case for a lot of us today, where this boundary sort of just camps out for a couple of days. That will be where we get that focus to get a few showers. And that boundary is going to do a heck of a job of keeping all that tropical moisture to the south. So what at times at the end of last week looked like we were going to turn into an unsettled period with some real good rain chances this week, looks like that's going to stay across the Florida Peninsula and not make it this far north. Now we'll see if the boundary can move a little tiny bit, and if it does, maybe that will impact our forecast a smidge. You see the morning temperatures, because it's so humid, the overnight numbers, they don't drop so far. In Tallahassee, it's 77. It's 73 in Thomasville, and that's actually one of the cooler spots around. It's still 80 at Apalachicola. So what we've got is a warm start. We've got a really muggy day coming today.
Not only is it Tuesday, which is my least favorite day of the week.
Tuesdays are rough, man.
They are rough for us. I don't know if it's everybody. I know it's rough for me.
Yeah.
And then you got to add the stickiness to it.
Think cool thoughts, I say. Think cool thoughts.
Yeah, no kidding. Put that AC on. Covering North Florida, 2 people are seriously injured in a car crash involving a tractor. Florida Highway Patrol says it happened yesterday on State Road 20 in Calhoun County. Troopers say a sedan failed to see the tractor ahead, hitting the back of it. Both the driver and passenger of the sedan were taken to a local hospital. In our continuing coverage this morning, it's officially been 1 month since tornadoes tore through Leon County. We're taking a look at disaster relief resources still working to put the capital city back together. One of those resources is Samaritan's Purse. The Christian aid group based in North Carolina has been here since day one and continues to provide relief to those in need. Our Brea Ruffin talked with Samaritan's Purse about how many people they've helped so far and how long they plan on being in the area to help people recover.
More than 300 volunteers have come to help Samaritan's Purse clean up the city of Tallahassee, with hundreds of requests for help after the tornadoes and more still coming in. SP still has just less than 400 families that are in need. The organization plans to stay in the area for another 30 days as they continue to help residents get back on their feet, but I'm told the need for volunteers is huge. Volunteers are broken up into teams and assigned a work site where they will assist with various cleanup duties, from tree and debris removal, placing tarps, or even cutting out moldy walls. I spoke with one volunteer who says you do not have to be trained. They just need people who are willing to help.
When we're doing roof work, that's all labor. When we're doing cleaning out somebody's houses, obviously, that's all labor work too. So we need volunteers to help us do anything. And you don't have to be skilled. Most of the volunteer work, there's going to be at least 3 or 4 people that are skilled to be able to show the person how to help.
SP provides food and water for all who assist with cleanup efforts, and overnight volunteers will have a place to stay. Head to SP's website to sign up or call the number on your screen. Reporting in Tallahassee, Bray Ruffin, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Right after the tornadoes, the Red Cross opened up an emergency shelter on FAMU's campus to help meet immediate needs. That shelter is now closed. However, as of early this month, the Red Cross now has opened fixed and mobile sites around the city. Just give them a call at 850-878-6080. Again, that number is 850-878-6080. And they can help direct you to different resources in our community.
And WCTV revisited the Mystic Woods condos yesterday, another hard-hit spot in Tallahassee. And you won't believe the extent of the mold and damage a month later. Now, the first time WCTV went to the condos right after the storm, downed trees, split buildings in half, and people living in the complex were just starting to clean up. As of yesterday, there's some progress, but there's still some trees that need to be cut down. And a small maintenance team is working hard to clean all this up, but property manager Troy Carver says that many of the tenants feel that they're running out of options.
These owners and the tenants here, every bit of us feel neglected. We felt forgotten. Our city, our state, we've been forgotten. We've reached out and we've begged to the point where we just, there's nobody else to call. There's nobody else to beg to. We've begged. And we're sitting there wondering, where's our help? We pay taxes. We're part of the community. We're citizens. Just like anybody else, and we have nothing.
Now, one resident displaced by the storms is Tricia Kaiser. Her home was damaged by a fallen tree. The ceiling of her bathroom caved in a few days later from the water leaking in. She and her 3 cats stayed in an extended stay hotel since the tornado and just moved back over the weekend.
It's been crazy. It's been like a nightmare that I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and be able to call my dad and say, you won't believe that dream I just had. There's a lot of bad things coming ahead. We had a special assessment attached to each unit that we have to pay. They're talking about raising an HOA, but they were talking about that before the tornado. So now that we have that to deal with, we've got to build our reserves back up. I'm like, am I even going to be able to afford to stay here anymore? It's a real concern.
Members of the Homeowners Association for Mystic Woods have had to pitch in to help pay for the cost of the repair while the complex looks for outside help. But the costs for the owners and the property management are starting to add up.
Officials with NOAA say this past spring produced the second most tornadoes in the U.S. since the 1950s. This year, there have already been 11 extreme disasters with a price tag of more than $25 billion. A new report shows FEMA could slip into the red by August with a shortfall of more than $1.3 billion. As FEMA spokesperson says, the agency is working with Congress to address issues with funding. Now, according to FEMA's website, it takes an average of a month for a federal disaster declaration to be approved. Within days of the tornadoes in our community, FEMA representatives were on the ground surveying the damage. On May 20th, Governor Ron DeSantis sent a formal request for assistance. And WCTV is working to find out more about resources available to you. And if you're still dealing with impacts from last month's tornadoes, you can find all of our stories about the triple twisters and where the recovery process stands in certain locations in the WCTV News app or online at WCTV.tv.
All right, some other news now. The Jefferson County School Board is welcoming a new principal for the district's K-12 school. Longtime educator Marlon Ball will replace current principal Jackie Pons. Pons stepping down as he runs for county superintendent. Ball is coming to the county with nearly 20 years experience. He's got a degree in education from the University of Florida, and he's worked at districts across Florida. And speaking of Florida, the state is investing more than $1 billion to raise teachers' salaries. Governor DeSantis announcing yesterday the record investment will be part of the upcoming budget.
And as our Capitol Bureau reporter Cody Butler tells us, Teachers Union says the money doesn't go far enough.
Florida is now ranked last in the U.S. when it comes to teacher pay. The National Education Association says teachers are paid an average of $54,000 a year in the Sunshine State. Now the state's putting $1.25 billion towards teacher raises, which is more than last year.
Make no mistake about it. We are putting our money where our mouth is in the state of Florida.
Governor Ron DeSantis says the money is part of the state's budget, which would begin July 1st. He says the goal is to help teachers across the state.
That's where we want the money to go. This categorical can only be used to increase salaries for teachers.
Governor DeSantis says the state has invested more than $4.5 billion to raise teacher salaries since 2020. However, Florida Education Association President Andrew Spar says Florida has gone from 47th to 50th in teacher pay during the same time.
Teachers and staff in the state of Florida continue to struggle to make ends meet. We have the worst teacher and staff shortage we've ever seen.
Spar says it's great that schools are getting more money, but he'd still like to see more investments being made in public schools. He wants to see the state put an extra $2.5 billion to address salaries, add more mental health specialists, and address academic needs.
We need strong neighborhood public schools in every community. We need to make sure those schools are fully resourced and that they have the ability to meet the needs of every child.
Florida's average starting teacher pay is about $48,000 a year. In Tallahassee, Cody Butler, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Governor DeSantis is expected to sign the state budget this week. He says he's already approved 90% of it.
Traveling to treat your taste buds is now becoming more popular. I'm Wendy Gillette in Copenhagen, Denmark, with a rise in culinary tourism.
All right, that forecast for the next couple of days features more hot, maybe not as much hot, but I think it features more humidity. I'll break it down.